Do you need to create a print and cut that is slightly larger than what the normal registration marks will allow? I have just the thing for you. Follow along and I'll show you how to max out an 8.5 by 11 sheet doing print and cut.
Here we are in Silhouette Studio, and I already have everything set up. This red line here is going to cut it to make the sticker sheet fit in my Happy Planner. But you can see my cut lines are within the hashed out area on the registration marks. And this has got the registration marks as small as I can get them to fit for my printer. So anytime you're doing a print and cut, you really want to stay out of these hashed areas. Having anything in there runs the risk of your cut lines not lining up correctly. So I don't want to do that, and I can't change the size because then it won't fit in my planner. So what do? Instead of using the print and cut registration marks, we're going to use the PicScan map. So I'm going to come over to the page setup. I'm going to turn off my registration marks. And then we'll open up the PicScan. Now, depending on the size of your scanner, you could go ahead, I already have my printer on, but I could go ahead and do it right here and scan the sheet, print it first, and then I would scan it on the PicScan map. But my scanner is not going to be large enough to fit the entire PicScan map. So what I'm going to do is just print this out. I will apply it to my PicScan mat, take a picture of it with my phone. So I'll come over to this picture button, and I will link you to a video that's going to show you how to go ahead and set up your phone for that, so you can get the perfect cut settings, so it's calibrated to your phone. So I'll link to that. But then I'll take a picture of this on my PicScan mat, and then we can send it to cut. And it's going to use the registration marks on the PicScan mat, so that way I can put this entire 8.5 by 11 sheet on my PicScan mat. So that's how you get the most use out of each sheet. So let's go ahead and send this to print. Now I do need to make sure that my cut line here, the point value needs to go all the way down to 0. That way it won't actually print. So I don't want to print those red lines. So actually I need to pick by color. We'll grab all of those red lines and then just making sure, yep, they're all at a 0 point value for those red lines so that they will not print. And I've got my sticker paper already loaded into my printer with the correct side facing me. And now all I have to do is come over to the print, and I have it set up so it's going to show me a print preview. So here's the preview of all the stickers it's going to print. And then this gray line here is my print border. So I can just go ahead and hit print. And it's going to print on my Canon printer just like normal. So we can just hit print. And then it's going to send that to print.
Here is my PicScan mat. You can see it's got a lot more registration marks than we're used to seeing when we use a typical print and cut. And then here is my 8.5 by 11 printed sheet. So all I'm going to do is put this on my mat, and you're just going to put it in that box area where the sticky stuff's at. So this is an 8.5 by 11 piece. And you can see there's actually still some extra space in this sticky mat part of it that you could even do probably like a 12, like an 8.5 by 12, and it'll all fit. Or if you wanted to put scraps on here. So now what I need to do is take a photo of this. And when you take that photo, you want to make sure you get the entire PicScan mat. So typically I'll like get one that's going to have a little bit of white space extra around it. I will take that photo, email it to myself so that I can upload it in Silhouette Studio. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll head back to Silhouette Studio and show you how to set it up from there.
Here is my image in my email. All I'm going to do is hit the download button, and that's going to send it to the downloads folder. And now we can navigate back to Silhouette Studio. And in Silhouette Studio, I'm going to come, this was the page we were on. Now we're going to go open up that PicScan, and I'm going to import PicScan image from file. And I'm going to select the one that I just took a picture of, and it's going to open it. And so now it's giving me this warning. I have not calibrated my phone in a while. You should definitely calibrate your phone. It says that here your cut lines accuracy might be affected if your phone is not calibrated. I just tested this with a different piece and my cut lines were spot on. So I'm going to take the lazy girl way and not calibrate, but I'm going to link you to the video to calibrate your phone so that way you have much more accurate cuts. But we're going to cut all of the red lines that are on here. So this is where things get a little interesting. So before I go ahead and pull that one in, I'm going to select all of my red lines and I'm going to group those together. Control and G. And then I'm going to copy that, Control plus C. And the reason I did that is because when we come back to that PicScan, I should have done that from the beginning. We're going to import that picture because now we're going to have to paste this on top of our image. So I'm going to go ahead and continue without calibration. And it's going to load it up into a new screen. So you can see now we were on the Happy Planner sticker. Now we're on an image screen. So it's a little bit different. But now what I'm going to do is hit Control plus V. Oop, it didn't grab it. So Control C to copy all of my red lines. Control plus V to paste them in place. And then we're just going to select. And we're going to turn all of those. And now that those are colored, it might actually help us get these lined up. And we're just going to try to line these hearts up in just the right spot. It might be easier to just use those arrow keys to do that. So I'm just using my left and right, up and down arrow keys to get those in the right spot. And you can see some of them are right on and some are not. So we need to adjust the rotation. And unfortunately, this is a little bit of a guessing game. My printer doesn't always grab the sheets completely perfectly straight. So that's kind of why some of these are goofy for me. So I just am going to have to adjust that little bit more. And come down and in. So my hearts are probably not going to be perfect. And this is a little bit tricky at this point. But that looks really good there. I can maybe come over. That's as good as it's going to get. Okay, so now we are all ready to go. We've got our red lines are the cut lines that it's going to cut, and it's going to do it on this mat. So now we can come over to our Send panel. And it already recognized that we are cutting on our PicScan mat. Let me show you this. It went ahead and did the cutting mat as the PicScan. So it automatically changed that. That's why on your Send panel, you still have this PicScan on there. And you can see doing just the cut because it printed everything. It's only going to cut those red lines, which is exactly what we want. And then when you're happy with everything, you think it's going to go good. It looks like it's trying to reconnect with my Cameo. But I can go ahead and pick my settings. I'm going to use textured cardstock 80 pound. I'm going to cut. And as soon as it marks my Cameo as available, it will go ahead and tell me I'm using the auto blade. And then I can send this to cut.
Okay, the machine's on and reconnected. You can see here you've got the arrow on the Picscan mat. That's how you're going to load this in this direction. We'll go ahead and load that in. And then now all we have to do is go ahead and hit send, and it's going to cut out the lines, the red lines around everything. Okay, so right now it's reading all of the registration marks. And I am using I'm going to make these as Kiss Cut stickers. So I'm using the white sticker paper setting, blade of 2, force 14. I turn the speed down to 4 and then 1 pass. So it read the registration marks. The nice thing about the Picscan is that the registration marks are always going to be the same because they're permanently part of the mat. So you never have to worry about it not being able to read those registration marks. And then it's just going to take the time to go ahead and cut out all of the little hearts, and then it'll go through and cut the boxes around my words. And then it'll cut the outline so that this will fit inside of my classic style Happy Planner book. Okay, it is all done cutting. And now before you remove your mat, you always want to double check to make sure that you like the settings that you use. So we're just going to check and make sure this is a good kiss cut. And that will easily peel up, and there's my sticker. So that is beautiful settings. I can go ahead and unload the mat. Now I will say I goofed up this outline border. I need it to not be a kiss cut. I need to make that cut all the way through. So I'm going to adjust my cut settings, and I'm going to just change the color of this outline so that it's different from the rest of these. So that way I can do a complete, like a die cut through the outline border and then leave the stickers a kiss cut. Well, what did you think? Using the Picscan mat to max out your 8.5 by 11 sheets is the ticket to not wasting that precious sticker paper or cardstock for that matter. Don't forget to grab your copy of the Silhouette Keyboard Shortcuts. I'll leave a link in the description box below.